Last year, at the same end, so nearly the hero. This year, you made it count. And we saw the celebrations at the end. Does that just mean everything?
Yeah, it means everything. I mean, listen, they've had the better of us over the last few years. We know that, and it's not been good enough for our club, and we've not given our fans nowhere near enough days like today. So it's been a long time coming to this ground and picking up 3 points. But it means. I think it's the old cliche, if it's only 3 points, but it's definitely not. It means a lot more than that to the boys, to the clubs, to the fans. I've been here 7 years now, and to come to this ground every time and not get 3 points has been tough. So yeah, it's for the fans, and I hope they have a great night tonight, because of course it is only 3 points on the table, but to come here and do it over Liverpool, and like I said, they have been a top team over the years, and they've been a lot better in recent years, so it's nice to get one over them.
Funny enough, I just heard on the commentary that for a Manchester United player, Anfield is the best place to win. Now that you've experienced it, can you vouch for that?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. I think you see all week about the build-up, and you see a lot of Juan Mata's goals and Wayne's goals here, what have won the games for the club. So yeah, I'm sure in a few years' time they'll be looking back at my header and things. So it's listen, football's all about memories. It's all about creating memories, creating special memories, and I'm sure all the fans in the stadium will have a memory that they won't forget. So we'll all go home happy. We'll not get carried away, because we know this club is not in a position to get carried away. We need to use this as motivation to reach levels that they've reached in recent years, because that's where this club should be at.
Correctly saying the right thing as captain, that every win is the same, every game is the same. These are the scenes as he made his way into the Manchester United dressing room. The player of the match winner, and his teammates making sure they celebrate with him. When we saw them celebrating at the final whistle, having led for so long in the game, Liverpool pulled it back to 1-1, and then Harry Maguire made sure that they come away with all 3 points for the first time, as he said, since 2016. He mentioned Wayne Rooney. It was his goal in 2016 when Manchester United were under Louis van Gaal that earned them their last league win here at Anfield. In terms of their performance, and in terms of Harry Maguire's performance in particular, Roy, I know that you weren't necessarily convinced that he was the right player to start this game, but did he prove Amarim right?
Yeah, of course, but the manager brought him in, you mentioned before the game, because of his experience and the fact he's a goal threat, and not just obviously his winner today. Defensively, some of the headers he put in was absolutely fantastic, and we know he's capable of doing that. That's the foundation of his career. But my worry always is that getting isolated and getting caught 1v1s in terms of his pace. But he obviously got away with that today, because he used the experience, and he done well, and he dug deep, and the win will give the players that belief about winning football matches. The key now for this group of players is you got to keep winning. And also the good thing is, for some of the new players who've come to the club, the attacking players, they haven't got the negativity of last season where it was really bad stats. They're coming to United and going, yeah, this is good, this vibe is good. They're winning a few matches now. They've got the back-to-back. They've won at Liverpool. Obviously, we know that it's not easy for Man United players. So we've got to take that belief now, as Harry just said, into the game next week. We'll go up against Brighton. That's the key now. Enjoy a little bit of success tonight. No doubt the fans will have a few drinks, but make sure you've got a free week. No real distractions for United over the next few months now. Obviously, European football, etc. So stay focused, stay in the zone. But they do look that they've got goals in this team. That was a big problem last year. For all their problems, goalkeeper, defensively, they weren't a goal threat. But today, even though they've scored 2, they still look as if going, yeah, there's goals in this group of players. And some of the attacking players today look like, again, there's a bit of a swagger about them. And I like that. And it wasn't a cockiness. It was like, yeah, confidence, give me the ball, I'll deal with it. I'm playing at Anfield, like Canton and all these players used to go, yeah, give me the ball, I can deal with it. And they dealt with it. And they've now got a build in it. But certainly good vibes. We see clips in the dressing rooms there. And success is good. It's great to be successful, even if it's a big game at Liverpool. But no, carry it on. I'll repeat that to the players. You've got to keep going now and build and have a really good season. There's been a lot of positives the last week. There's been criticism. We spoke about the owner saying, oh, the manager's here for the next 2 or 3 years. And we say, well, results will dictate that. But if we can get performance and results like that today, then he will be here for 3 years.
I was just thinking that, and it was quite unprecedented what he came out and said, and he almost got ridiculed for it to a certain extent, but maybe it changed that whole dressing room. The players that maybe aren't quite keen on Ruben Amorim, maybe his backroom staff, maybe he's going to be surplus, let's shut everybody up. He's here, so let's get on with it now, and you can see maybe that creates a bit of togetherness. And like Roy says, they've signed a couple of gems. Sesko, the jury is still out a little bit. But in Cunha and Mbeumo, they've got players that look like they deserve to be in a Man United shirt. And there's been a few that don't look like, not only do they not want to be it in a Man United shirt, they don't look like can handle the pressure that comes with it. Cunha handles the ball, he wants it in tight situations, he looks a class act. And Mbeumo's a massive goal threat. So they do look, to a certain extent, a lot better team. Now, they still need a few pieces in that jigsaw puzzle, but there were so many positives today. We talk about tactics. Roy said it just after the game. Goes out the window in these games. There's been so many times when you maybe don't play that well, but you dig in and you get a result when you've good challenges, a little bit of luck along the way, and they rode their luck. But they still had the big moments. And no matter what gets said about Bruno Fernandes, and he does get a lot of stick, that ball for the winning goal is world class, and that's what he brings to this team.
And Roy, you said it as well, that it was very important that the senior players were there to try and make things easier for not just the younger players, but the new players who've come in, and they combined for this.
Like, I'd say 99 players out of 100 would have controlled that.
Yeah.
But for Bruno to do that and put it back into the right area, the pace is coming at him, not many players can do this. And then Maguire obviously always drifting on the back post, cushion out or back across the goalkeeper, fantastic. And again, you just feel United had another goal in them. Credit to Liverpool, obviously the fans were going to demand they get back into the game. But Harry, great header, you could see it all the way. Sometimes that can be a distraction for a player, but never in doubt. Again, big forehead on him, bang, back to the opposite. And I mean that in the nicest way. He does have a good habit of getting his head on things. He reads it well.
He did it late on in Europe last season, and he almost did it here at Anfield last season against Liverpool, where he had the opportunity with pretty much the last kick of the game to earn 3 points for Manchester United this time.
Yeah, but I don't think he got a great ball here, but still, you still get over it. And listen, but the beauty with football, you get another chance. Listen, his emotions that day would have been, I should have done better.
Oh, the reason to show this is to point out that he did do it this time, that he came back the next season and
But what I like
right.
about Maguire, there's certain players, particularly centre-halves, a lot of centre-halves go up, but they go up and there's like, they're kind of going up for the sake of it. But I've seen people like Maguire and going back over to John Terry and these people, even Van Dijk recently, they go up with a purpose. They go up and go, I'm going to go up and do something here, and they can read the flight of the ball, they get into good positions. He looked at Bruno there and he's thinking, I know Bruno's going to put this in the right area. So when they go up, they're going, yeah, I believe I can cause havoc here, even if I'm not going to win the header, for obviously defensively and going forward. And that's a big plus to him.
And the ball from Bruno, because what he does, Roy said it, he didn't take a touch. So what that does is they haven't got time to react. Virgil van Dijk hasn't got time to get to that back post, so that leaves Konate all on his own. And look at this. But the beauty of light of it, what a ball.
But if Bruno doesn't get that right, we're sitting there, all of us going, you've got to take a touch. You've got to. That's what you'd be saying. But the top players will take risks. And Bruno going forward is absolutely fantastic.
You can see the three of them at the back post. But that's when you need Harry Maguire, in fairness. He's the best at heading the ball. And it was a world-class ball. It really was.
Liverpool have now lost 6 of the last 16 Premier League games. They only lost 1 in Arne Slot's first 30 games in charge. It's been a really difficult time for them. They've lost their last 4 games in all competitions. Let's hear what Virgil van Dijk made of it.
To end the losing run today, it hasn't quite happened. Why do you think not?
Because obviously we conceded a very sloppy second goal. We worked so hard to get back into the game. We created opportunities to score the winner. But if you concede the second goal like that, obviously that's a disappointing part. And I think overall, if you look at the game, we were far too rushed. I think we were making wrong decisions at time, and that was also the moments where we were open if we lost the ball. And, disappointed day.
Far too rushed because of the games you've lost, and almost trying too hard, maybe, do you think?
No, I think United was obviously very patient. They didn't press us that high. They didn't, they let us on the ball, and I think we made rash decisions at time where obviously we had to stay maybe a little bit calm, but we still obviously created many opportunities to score and win the game. But the reality is that we lost, and it's an interesting time now that we have to stick together, and not only us as players, but together with our fans and everyone that wants us to win.
Can you just give us your perspective on the first goal? Because obviously yourself, Alexis and Mbeumo have all sort of gone in. Perhaps the game should have been stopped for a head injury. Then Mbeumo makes the run sort of in behind you. Like you passed him on, I think, to Konate, but just give us your view of that whole moment.
Yeah, well, I think the ball goes long. The first header get won by a United player, the second header get won by me. In that moment, obviously, I hit Maka's elbow, and he goes down, I go down, and that creates obviously the space on my position and behind. And I thought from the angle that it was pretty difficult to score, but he managed to score. And obviously, it's still early on in the game, so there's plenty of football to be played. So it was good for us to just stay calm. But I think we didn't manage that in the best way, and that's obviously the disappointing part.
You said in one of your earlier answers, this is an interesting moment now. What's needed from the group to sort of get yourselves back on track?
Well, first and foremost, stay humble, stay working, and try and keep your confidence as high as possible, because obviously when you lose, your confidence could drop a little bit, but it's about staying very calm. And we've been coming from a season when everything was, it was unbelievable, and everyone was praising everyone and positive, and yeah, obviously we became the champions. So and everyone was obviously cheering for us as well. And when things get tough, it's important that we keep that same mentality of being there for each other. Long season, obviously it's easy to get dragged into a negative spiral, but it's down to us to keep working, stay humble, and improve ASAP. When you get the opportunity to obviously show your quality and win games, but we also have to. And I mentioned it before already, you have to put things in perspective. We're in October now, so many twists and turns can happen, but the reality is that we come over four defeats in a row now, and we want to turn it around ASAP.
Thank you, Virgil.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Jamie, we saw the match stats earlier and said we tried to explain why they looked so positive in Liverpool's favour, and yet they came away on the wrong end of that scoreline, and it felt, watching the game, as though they didn't deserve to win necessarily the match. One of the things that's happened is that they've conceded 17 goals in their first 12 games in all competitions this season, compared to 5 in their opening 12 games in all competitions last season. Why do you think that's happening? Why are they defensively more frail? Well,
11, if you go to even talk about the Premier League, 11 this season in the Premier League, they only conceded 3 after 8 games last season. So it feels that there's a lot's going on. It's almost too easy to say there's maybe one thing. You can point to Konate's form in the season. I thought he was excellent today. You're bringing in a new left back. Is that maybe making a bit of a disruption to Virgil van Dijk? And is he trying to at times cover Kirkes, who's finding it quite difficult at the moment? Right back, you've obviously lost. We all talk about how good Trent was going forward, but defensively, we always thought he didn't really make that much difference. And at times, he could be a liability, but maybe he's shown he actually wasn't that bad in defence. So there's lots of different factors that you could look into this Liverpool performance, and certainly from defensively. Now, Virgil's analysis of that goal is an interesting one, because I feel that he talks about when it goes up. Yes, the referee could stop the game. Absolutely, he could, and I don't think anybody would have complained. But does he see it? We don't know. So I prefer not to even say to even over-elaborate on that one. But what I feel that you have to look at is the source of the problem. So Virgil goes for that one, then he goes for the next ball, and then he knocks Mbeumo to the floor, and obviously his player McAllister go down. Now Virgil van Dijk has got maybe a 2-yard start on Mbeumo, but he sprint back. If he sprints back, he stops that. He points at his mate Konate to come and help him out. Just watch Virgil van Dijk here as he goes in for this second challenge. I feel if Virgil goes and sprints back as quickly as he can, there's absolutely no doubt in a flat race he wins that. Brilliant by Diallo, absolutely, and really good by Mbeumo. Great finish. But Virgil can do much better from a defensive point of view. From an attacking point of view, Roy obviously will show again. You can see from Man United's point of view.
Brilliant, yeah. Good start, good run, great ball, and again, yeah, just sloppy from Liverpool. I think the keeper's got to do better as well, and the dream start for United, of course. But Liverpool did, and they do look like they're forcing things. They do look like it's balance, whatever, the chemistry is not quite there.
Van Dijk said rushed was the word.
Yeah, possibly so. But when you're a centre-half and you're a big player, and last year was on about who's going to stay, and he signs the big contract, and then you're giving up loads of goals, then I'd be looking at him. I'd be looking, what are you doing? Particularly as a big leader of the team. And we're looking at moments, and I think a couple of years ago he spoke about Man United coming here and parking the bus and being critical of United. Well, they've scored 2 today. They scored 2 last year, and you're the centre-half of this team. Always start with the man in the mirror. always that because he's a big leader. We talked about United's Maguire turning up today, and always just today, and Bruno and stuff. But Van Dijk, if you're the centre half and your team are all of a sudden giving up loads of goals, you've got new people coming to your club, you've got to have a good look at yourself and going, am I really helping these lads? Am I getting a grip of people? And little incidents we saw with the goal there, yeah, we'll give United plaudits, but I do look at them going, are you really sprinting back? And what happens when you become champions? The biggest challenge is the next year, because people are looking at you going, you're the champions, we're going after you. Even United were coming today, and United attacking players certainly had a bit of a swagger about them, whereas Liverpool, they struggle to deal with that. And the stats, we're talking about stats. I think a really important stat in football is the scoreline. And that's it. And Liverpool, the manager said last year, Liverpool won loads of games by the odd goal. They're now on the wrong side of it. And again, they're losing lots of late goals. So whatever happened with the substitutions, the mentality, shall we say, even when Liverpool got it back to 1-1 today, you still think United had a goal. It's not as if you're going, oh, listen, this is the second goal's coming. And Liverpool, just before the goal, almost kind of gifted them, giving the ball away cheaply. And there are little moments that you got to have a say to, where Van Dijk's got to say to the players, lads, just calm down. Again, and I think sometimes it's good to be forcing things and panicking, but not all the time. I felt it was like that from even in the first half. It's not as if we done it United. It'd be a mad last 10 or 15 minutes, but not a mad last hour.
Well, you talked about the substitutions, and when Arne Slot made that triple substitution, that's when it started to feel particularly chaotic, frantic, any of the words that you want to use. And in fairness, it earned Liverpool a goal.
Yeah, there's a bit of genius madness. Virgil does brilliantly well to win the challenge there on Mbeumo, and then they keep the ball alive, and the pressure was certainly mounting. And you can feel that something was going to happen. They get that little bit of luck there. They stay calm. Wirtz keeps it alive. Smashes it across the face of goal, and then there was always one player I felt today that could get that goal. I didn't feel like it was going to be Salah. I felt it was going to be Gakpo. He had so many chances. He enjoys this fixture.
He hit the post three times in the game.
3 times, Kelly, and he was always looking to score. And obviously a little bit wasteful with a header that was a great opportunity for him. And then I could honestly say I could only see one winner. Although Liverpool's formation was crazy, you end up with Wirtz and Jones as your 2 defensive midfield players. I still felt they would be the team in the ascendancy and win it. And that's what Virgil spoke about, that little bit of calmness. And I go back to the throw-in. When they go and give the ball, when Szoboszlai throws it back to his keeper, he just needs to stay calm. You've got so much time still. Little mistakes like that would just transmit into the fans, to the players. It doesn't need it. And that's what they did so well last year. We spoke about how good Liverpool were, but we also spoke about how calm they were. They never really got under pressure. But you felt today they were too rushed.
But it goes to show there was a nervousness in Liverpool, and that's on the back of 3 defeats. For all how brilliant Liverpool have been over the last year, they're human beings. And when you lose 3 games, can I tell you what? Self-doubt will kick in. You start, really, are we going to lose again? And they've lost that little bit of belief. And you felt it in the stadium. Even when we got here today before the game, you're still thinking Liverpool will get the job done. But when you're a goal down after a minute or two, and you think you're nervous before the game, after a minute or two, you're going, oh my goodness, it's a long way back. And they didn't quite do enough. For all their efforts and the chances, you felt United had a chance of getting a big result today.
But even in terms of Manchester United's winner, in the build-up to it, there was evidence of what Van Dijk was talking about, that being rushed.
It's Szoboszlai here, look, he's throwing it back to his keeper. It's just not on. And Mbeumo goes and presses him, and then you can see there's a little bit of panic. The keeper's obviously, look at he's throwing his arms up in the air. Then they don't win the second ball. Harry Maguire wins that. Right, now you're on the back foot. They work it really well. Sesko's good feet. Cunha, who's been excellent, and certainly in the second half, keeps the ball alive. They get a corner. That's where the goal comes from. It's just a case of staying calm.
And that's where you use your experience, Kelly. That's where you've got to use your experience. Yeah, and it's madness with the throwing. Just go down the line. Yeah, but then a bit of brilliance from Bruno there.
I mean, this won't go down as a goal necessarily straight from the corner, because obviously it gets played out and ends up back with Bruno Fernandes. But are you concerned about Liverpool's defensive record from set pieces, Jamie? Given how big set pieces are, particularly this season, we've seen a big increase in how effective sides can be from them. Arsenal benefiting hugely.
Well, you looked at the substitution. Like when you take off Gravenberch and then you bring on Jones and Wirtz, you lose a big header of the ball. And Roy and I were saying during the game, look at the size of United all of a sudden. They look a really big side from every single set piece that comes in. They've got big players. They bring on Sesko, 6'5", 6'6", whatever he is. So there was a few mismatches there. So yeah, set pieces are a big, but you know, there's sometimes you just got to take leadership. You know, Konate, can he deal with it? Virgil van Dijk. And the chaos I felt towards the end of the game. Jamie Carragher mentioned it a few weeks ago, and I think it was before the Chelsea game, there's a bit of basketball all the time with Liverpool. It just never feels like there's that control.
But even when the ball goes out to Bruno, if you look at the Liverpool players' body language, if we can go back to it, a lot of the Liverpool players, 5 or 6 of them, are running to what... No, as a player, you must know your